Hey everybody, RC here. Welcome to this video. This is my first video and likely my only video on guns. The purpose of this video is, well, let's back up. I am a non-gun owner as of today. However, about a month ago, I decided I wanted to purchase a gun for home defense. And based on my background, which is in sales, I decided, I pretty much start to do heavy research anytime I'm faced with a buying decision, whether that's cars, motorcycles, guitars, all of which I have purchased many in my life, or guns, which I have not purchased any. But I will be, at this point, as of the time I'm recording this, I speculate I will own a weapon within 2 weeks. Um, so the reason for the video is because there's a ton of videos on YouTube. There's a ton of information on the internet that give people's personal preferences, that give head to head comparisons between firearms. Um, but there's really not anything that kind of teaches a novice or a non gun owner like myself exactly how to begin the process. Now, let me preface I don't think there's a right way or a wrong way to go about the process that you choose to do. At the end of the day, and this will be a theme that I harp on this entire video, the only person that can make a decision for you is you yourself. Don't let yourself be influenced by other people. Every video that I have watched has been basically just to further my own understanding and education of the particular subject at hand, and then individual firearms that I am considering. So, let's see. I know most videos they have people where they have their face up here, but I'm going to do it a little differently because I don't have a gun to show you. So, first step, get educated. That's plain and simple. What I did is I actually attended a gun show and met some people that own High Noon Gun Range in Crosby, Texas. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but they were very nice when we were talking. They have a range, they have classes, and I went by there one day and I said, "Hey, what kind of classes do you offer?" I said, I know they have the concealed carry. Well, first thing that's been changed. It's no longer a concealed carry; it's a licensed to carry class. But they offer this class called Learn and Shoot, and it's an hour and a half. It's $10. It's a beginner's class to introduce those who are new in shooting or want a refresher course. Basics on gun safety, loading a magazine, proper grip on a gun, proper stance to shoot the gun, and an opportunity to shoot two pistols, one revolver and one semi-automatic pistol, 5 rounds in each. So my wife and I attended this. Both of us are novice shooters, having never shot a pistol before in our life, and it was $20. And basically that $10 covers the ammunition. I highly recommend taking a class similar to this because it gives you lots of good information and some practical experience in actually shooting a gun with a instructor there to help you out. So that was step one, education. This is what I did. I went and took this class. This was the class that I took, and they offered every Wednesday night at this particular location. you'll find something similar in your area. Secondly, look for gun shops and ranges in your area. Now, why would you do that? Well, if you're going to buy a gun, odds are you're going to need some information. Now, keep in mind, gun owners or gun shop owners are very similar, and I don't mean this as a slight, so if anybody out there watching this is a gun shop owner, they're just like a car dealership. Their job is to sell you something, in this case, a gun. They really, at the end of the day, don't care what you buy as long as you buy from them. Now, that's why you look around. Go introduce yourself to several places. In the last month, I've probably been to a dozen different gun shops. I mentioned High Noon only because I met them through the gun show, and I've been there several times. They, to me, are one of the ones that have been willing to spend the time with me as a new prospective gun owner. They have been one that they have been willing to answer a ton of questions. And that's what I'm looking for. To counteract that, I was at a gun store earlier today uh, on my lunch hour, and lo and behold, the guy was basically, yeah, we've got a bunch of stuff. Go over there, look in the case, and if you have any questions, ask. And I went, okay. And so I looked, basically made note of some pricing, and left. Didn't ask to hold any guns there or anything else. It was obvious the guy didn't want my business, at least not enough, and I was the only person in the store outside of the two employees. So that's a place I won't be going back. Probably won't be utilizing their range either, unless it's, because it's closer than the High Noon range. It's probably about 20 minutes closer to my house. Might be a few bucks cheaper, but at that point, I'd rather pay a few bucks extra for a place that, at least seems to respect me as a customer. So look around for gun shops, and ask the same questions to every gun shop, because you may get different answers. And then that will tell you, as you're doing your personal research and getting informed from other places, then you may find out that, oh, that gun shop just flat out lied to me, or obviously that person doesn't know. And that may help you weed out the places you want to give your business to and keep going to asking your questions. High Noon, for example, I've been there 3 times now asking questions. I've asked questions of 3 different people. So, at the end of the day, though, remember, they are there to sell you a gun. Some of them will be willing to give you time and, and try to educate you. Some aren't. So look around, and you take that into account in your education process of getting educated. And so education is not just the class, although I think that was a huge thing for me to get, because now I knew how to actually physically handle the gun going into the store. The next thing, try a multitude of guns in your hand. Pick them up. This is where it helps to find your gun shop and find the people that are willing to spend the time with you. As an example, when I went to High Noon, the first time I went, the guy probably put 20 guns on the counter for me to pick up. When I went back the second time, I talked to a different guy. He probably put about 8 guns on the counter, because I had already narrowed my focus, but we were still talking in a lot of generalities. So, pick them up, put them in your hand. What does the gun feel like? If you've taken that initial course, remember, one of the things that they told you they would teach you was how to hold the gun. Okay. So if you know how to hold it from step 1, then when you're in step 3 in a gun shop that you have decided is worth spending time at, they will let you hold as many guns as you want. And basically what you're looking for is the comfort of the gun in your hand. Plain and simple. If it feels good in your hand, then you're going to want to hold it. If it hurts your hand, if it stretches your hand, if it's too small, whatever the case may be, you're not going to like to hold that gun. If you don't like it when you're just holding it, you're not going to like it when you're shooting it. I can guarantee that. Um, so try, pick them up. As you do that, make a list of the guns you like. Why? Because you'll forget the name of them. I certainly did. I had to go back probably the second time and I looked at some guns I had already looked at. And it wasn't until we were actually talking about them I went, oh, yeah, I tried that one last time, didn't like it. So make a list and then that will help you narrow down. Plus, that will help you when you come to research the guns on your short list. Well, what are you looking for in research? Well, you're looking for anything that, just like if you were researching a car or a school for your kids. Okay. Here is, I've got YouTube pulled up 3 times. Now, again, I'm not recommending any gun personally because as of today, I have yet to actually buy a gun. I am still in that determination process. But as I said, the goal of this video is to help people like me get to the point where they are at least comfortable in picking out a gun to buy. So here is a search for Glock 17. It's a full-size gun made by Glock, which is the manufacturer. The 17 is the model. Okay, like I told my wife, Glock would be Chevrolet, 17 would be the Silverado pickup. Okay, then they have the Glock 19, which would be the Chevrolet Colorado pickup. Then they would have the Glock 42, which, so you have the manufacturer and the model. Okay, so if that helps kind of understand that. These are all videos that come up on YouTube, a reliability test, a Gen 4, unboxing and review, Glocks versus a baseball. So I guess they shoot a baseball. Explosive ammo. The Glock 17 and the Glock 19. Size comparisons. Upgrade. The best upgrades. Shooting coconuts. The Glock 17 versus the Smith & Wesson MP9. Basically a review. And you can see I've watched that one. There's a reason for that, so you pick and find the things that will give you information and continue that education process that we talked about in step 1, getting educated. So and how do you research? YouTube, internet, gun stores, friends with guns, cops with guns. In fact, I have a police officer that's a neighbor about 6 houses down. I've never met the guy. He happened to be pulling in today when I was passing by. I rolled my window down, introduced myself, told him I was looking to become a gun owner, asked him what he thought about the guns I was thinking about. Again, everybody has personal preferences. What's right for them may not be right for you, but it never hurts to hear, with an open mind, what their thinking is. Okay? Like with the Glock. Some people will tell you it's the best gun ever made, hands down. Other people will tell you their life could be on the line and they would not pick up a Glock. Okay? So, what's right for one person may not be right for the other person, but it doesn't make either anybody right or wrong. Okay. There's plenty of videos out there about bad customer service. There's equally good number about good customer service from all of these manufacturers. The 3 that I have here, these are the 3 guns that I have decided based on my step-by-step process that I am going to consider purchasing. Okay. So again, research. So here's Glock. Here's the Smith & Wesson MP9. I just put the name of the gun in. Boom. Tons and tons and tons and tons of videos. Oh, look, I watched this one, a review, a review on the full size. Well, there's the Shield, which is the compact. Would I really bet my life on this pistol? Well, I have something to say about the Shield, but again, this is not for my personal preferences. This is just to help you get comfortable finding how to find a gun. The SIG P320 again, video after video. You can type in right there. In fact, these are some of my searches. SIG P320 versus the Smith & Wesson MP9. Right there, plenty of it. And you can see I've watched a lot of these. Um, so, you know, educate yourself. Go to the manufacturer's website. This is the Glock website. If you're not aware, they have standard size guns, which are also called full size guns, compacts, subcompacts, which get into the subcompacts get into your concealed carry that you would carry on your person as a concealed weapon, competition guns, and long slide guns, which people like you and me probably won't ever need. So here's something that you have to decide. This will be the next step. Decide full size or conceal size. Well, what do you want the gun for? Well, when I started sitting down, I want a gun. Eventually, I do want to carry a gun all the time for protection. So I do want a conceal size, but I also want a gun for home protection at home. So some of the things to consider, and this is just based on my information. Full size, best for magazine capacity, which equals better at the range, not having to reload as much. Also, they have better accuracy. Let me stretch this out a little bit. Okay. You can learn better habits. And this is something I picked up from two particular gun dealers, that as you are dealing, if you have a gun that is full size, it's going to feel best in your hand. It's going to be more fun to shoot. It's going to have better accuracy. And because it's better at those things, it will be a gun that you will be happy to go out to the range and shoot. And you will, he used an example. He said, if you go out and you learn how to drive, you can learn how to drive driving a beat up pickup, or you can go out and learn how to drive in a Lamborghini. And you can learn how to drive equally well in both vehicles. But there are going to be certain things that the Lamborghini's better at than the pickup, and the pickup will be better at things that the Lamborghini just can't do. So that's what you have to decide. So full size, you can learn better habits. Now, those habits do transfer to smaller conceal weapons. Now, what about the conceal weapons? Lower mag capacity. That in and of itself is not a bad thing. I have actually found in talking to a lot of people that they don't use their full magazine most of the time at the range. They usually go with 5 to 10 shots. Most of your concealed weapons have somewhere between 6 to 10 bullets in their magazine. So that in and of itself does not play a big role. It is not as good at accuracy. Now, here's where I mentioned that I had tried the Shield earlier. I I did go out. Okay, in fact, here's the Smith & Wesson site. So you can see here is the Shield, and here's the full-size M&P. The Shield is a smaller gun, shorter barrel, shorter handle compared to the full-size M&P 9. This is made to be a conceal carry weapon that you can carry on a holster on your hip, inside your waistband, in your purse, whatever. This is going to be a gun that while you might be able to do that, it won't be as comfortable. It's going to be bulkier. It will print more, which means you can see the handle on the revolver through your shirt. Not always, but it will print more. And some states that may be an issue. Here in Texas, not so much. But again, I had, keeping in mind that as of this point today, I have shot a grand total of 60 rounds of ammunition. I've had 60 shots through pistols of various makes and models. Not very many, maybe 2 hours on the range all told. Okay. The shield, and if you've ever seen a target with the shield, I was in the 8 and 9 rings, a couple in the 10 ring with about 15 to 20 shots. Now I did not actually shoot the full size. That's on my to-do list for my next trip to the range. But with the Glock and the S&P, the SIG P320, I was able to put about 80% of my shots into the X ring or the 10 ring, and nothing was outside the 9 ring. So much better control, much better accuracy with the full size gun. So going back to and again, this is just my thought process. I have decided that, and again, carrying on here, so because it's smaller, this equals a different grip, not plus, equals different grip on the gun, and that will lead to a different firing position, which equals worse habits. You learn some more bad habits basically with this. And again, that's also going back to my getting educated in all, asking questions. This is what I've been informed, and I've been informed by this by multiple places. So, that stands to reason. So what I decided, I'm going to go with a full size, and I will probably eventually get a conceal size, and I will have 2 guns at some point in time. You have to decide which one's going to be best for you. Now, you may say, well, I only want to get 1 gun and I want it to be the perfect gun for all of that. Well, what you'll find if you actually go and handle the guns and ask questions, there is no perfect gun. No gun will do everything perfectly. It may be a 10 out of 10 on accuracy. It may be a 9 out of 10 on comfort, but it may be a 4 out of 10 on concealability. And then you get one that's a 9 or a 10 out of 10 on concealability. It might only be a 6 out of 10 on accuracy and a 5 out of 10 on comfort. So, you're not going to have any gun that does everything perfectly. So you're going to have one gun that's going to be your everyday gun that you keep at the house, that you go to the range with. If somebody breaks into your house, that will be the gun that you actually pull to utilize. And then there will be the compact gun that when you go out to get in your car, it's the gun that you put on your belt if, God forbid, you have to ever use that. And so I've already come to the realization I will probably have to buy 2 guns. I want to have the full size first because it will be better at the range. I'm more likely to use the gun at the range, which will make me better at my accuracy, learning better habits, and then those habits will transfer to the smaller weapon when I get it. Okay. Now again, doesn't mean that that's the right way to do it. That's what was right in my opinion, in my research, and that's what was the right decision for me. Okay. Most ranges, not all, but most ranges will rent guns. So go out to a range, rent 2 or 3 guns. I went out last weekend. I shot 3 different guns. I bought a box of 50 shells, 59 millimeter shells. I put 15 rounds through 2 of the guns, and I put 20 rounds through the 3rd gun. And that was my 50 rounds, trying to just get a feel. So I put 15 rounds through the Smith & Wesson Shield. Decided I did. Actually, I put 10 through that, and immediately within 10 shots, because I had already shot the Glock 17 at that intro course, I already knew I didn't like it as much. So then I went and I shot the owner actually let me shoot his personal 1911, which was very nice, but it's also very, very expensive. and it's a 45 caliber chambered for 9 millimeter with a conversion. Um, and then I shot the Sig Sauer P320, and that is the one I put the rest of the 20 rounds through. The one I decided, and I really liked it. I liked the grip, the comfort was there. I liked the trigger. I was more accurate with it. The Glock was right there. So what I'm going to do the next time is I want to go back and I want to shoot the full size Smith and Wesson and get a comparison for that. I'll put some more rounds through the SIG P320, and then I will put some more shots through the G17, and that's at the point that I will make my final decision. So rent guns that are ranged, do it 2 to 3 times. Okay, further narrow down your selections, and now you have a comparison of feel and fire. So you've actually felt the gun up here, holding the guns in your hand, and now you've actually shot them. So now you can compare both ways. All right. This is where you can now narrow selection on weapon and make your decision. Now, again, not prepping one of these guns over any other one. These are just the 3 that I have felt most comfortable with. So again, this video is just to kind of give you some information on how to go through the buying process, how to narrow, there's 1,000,001 guns out there. Which one's the best one for you? Well, at the end of the day, only you can decide that. Okay? Don't get swayed by me and the 3 guns that I've chosen. Don't get swayed by all the videos that you watch on YouTube. Don't get swayed by what your friend carries. Don't get swayed by what the cop down the street carries. Make your decision based on the feel and the fire. That's what it's going to boil down to. So get educated, look for the gun shops and ranges in your area, get to know those people, figure out which ones will talk to you and are worth talking to. And you'll know that pretty quick. Pick up as many guns as you can. Make a list of the guns you like. Go and research those guns. Watch YouTube videos. Decide whether you want full size or conceal size. Go rent the guns and actually shoot them. Narrow down your selection, and then make your choice. And then you can say, hey, I've made my choice. I've done it in an informed and educated way. And what's right for you may not be right for somebody else. Now, just remember, everybody that makes a video out there is usually pushing something. Okay? There's one that I remember the other day, in fact, right here, an M&P fan shoots the SIG P320. Well, the guy says, I own an M&P, I love an M&P, I won't use anything other than an M&P, but I'm going to shoot this today because my boss said I had to. Okay, well, take that into consideration. He's already got a biased opinion. Now, you can still see maybe and in fact, I think in this guy's case, he actually did, say, man, I really liked firing that gun. I need to shoot it more before I can overcome 15 years of M&P ownership to recommend this over an M&P. Whereas the gun shop owner I talked to the other day, he said, I carry an M&P on my waist and have for 10 years. No other gun has come close to pushing that gun off my hip. But then he said, the P320 is a newer gun. I've really liked shooting it, and it's the only gun that's come close, and I may buy one, and it may replace my M&P for the first time in a decade. Okay, so you start talking to people like that, and you go, okay, well, no, that's actually a meaningful conversation. I talked to another guy and he says, man, the 6 hours hard to find. Why? Military, law enforcement, they're all going to this weapon right here. So evidently, if it's that quality that people that depend on that gun for their lives daily are going to that gun, it might be a pretty good gun. just maybe. So again, these are the three that I'm going to narrow down to. I will go reshoot a second and in some cases a third time, and then I will make my final decision. But again, the whole purpose of this, when I first started, I didn't know what to do. So I took it upon myself to find out, were there any classes to begin getting educated? That's the first step. Once you have a little knowledge of how to handle the gun, then you're not going to be so um, scared, I guess is a good word, but uncomfortable going into a gun store and talking to people that handle guns daily and may have for 40 years, and this may be the first time, like me, that I've picked up a pistol. Okay, I've never picked one up. So again, I wanted to help people like me that were thinking about getting a gun, um, and just didn't know where to start. So hopefully this gives you guys some really good information. Again, only you can decide, but I think this was a very good, for me at least, it was a good step-by-step process for me to educate myself, continue to get educated, and then walk through narrowing down that, when you walk into a gun store and there's 400 guns there, or you go to a gun show and there's 300 tables filled with guns, and you're just like, which one do I even look at? Well, look at all of them, pick them all up, start handling them, see which ones feel good, and that's going to tell you right away, I like this gun, I don't like this gun. And then when you have that short list of guns, research them. Oh, well, this one tends to copy and they're not as good at quality control. Okay, well, maybe I want to take that one off my list, even if it's a cheaper weapon. Okay, because maybe that bad quality control will lead to some problems that I don't want to deal with. Okay, and maybe that's worth paying an extra $100 for a gun for. I won't mention any names. That's just something I found in my research. So, I went with well-respected name brands in my opinion. Now, I will say that while this video was meant for newbies like myself, being that it is a gun video, I am sure somebody out there is going to be a gun owner that's going to happen upon this video. If you do, well, first off, if you're one of the new people that this video is meant for, ask questions below. We can help each other out because, I can tell you what I've done. I can give you some insight to maybe my personal findings, and you might be able to give me some information that you find following this list or following some variation of this list to help you out. If you are a gun owner, you probably, you already know this. I mean, you're probably doing this anyway because a lot of this information I got from friends of mine as suggestions for people that already own guns. It was to try out as many guns as you can and figure out which one you're comfortable with. That was, their suggestions in a nutshell. But what I am interested in, I'm not looking personally for whether you think my final three are good or bad, but if you have any insight into these, why one is better than another, or why maybe I shouldn't consider one, sure, leave a comment below. Again, that just adds, what was the very first thing? Get educated, listen to everybody. So leave your comments below too. I'll be more than happy to read that, and I will take it with an open mind and a grain of salt. But every little bit of information that I get adds to my total knowledge that helps me become a better informed purchaser for a firearm and to make that choice that's going to be right for me. So anyway, I hope this video has helped somebody out there. If not, well, at least it helped me. So thank you for your time. Thanks for checking out the video. And I do look forward to any comments or feedback in the comments below. You guys have a great day.